Today I'm going to guide you through a core stabilizing yoga flow. Before we get started, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I mean when I say stabilize the core. So if you don't know this already, your core is located in the middle of your body. It's including your abdomen and your back muscles. So when I think of stabilizing my core, I'm thinking of tucking my tailbone slightly, engaging the lower abs all the way through up to the top, have my shoulder blades in a relaxed position, and I'm pulling up through the crown of my head. Chin can be tucked slightly, and let's sit here and just breathe in this position. Sometimes when we think of engaging the abdomen, we forget to breathe. So we're going to practice a few breaths here, engaging the core. Beautiful. So before we get started, I do want to mention that today I am going to be demonstrating with some blocks. I have two here. You do not need to have them, but they might come in handy at some point. So feel free to go ahead and grab those for yourself. Otherwise, you can use big books or even a firm pillow to help stabilize you. I have my big cat here today, so everyone say hi to Mohki. Say hi. So if you hear him meowing throughout the video, he's very vocal, don't mind him. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with a warm-up here. Again, engaging the core throughout this entire practice. So we're sitting up straight, have the tailbone tucked, shoulders relaxed, chin comes down to chest. Exhale, chin comes up, shoulders come up to ears. Inhale, relax the shoulders, chin comes to chest. Exhale, shoulders come to ears. Head tilts back a bit. We'll do that one more time. Lovely. Now we're going to go into just some organic movement here. Moving side to side. We're in a circle. Whatever feels right to you, getting the back muscles nice and loose. Using your core strength to pull you forward or in a rotation. If you're rotating one way, switch it up, go the other way. Notice how it feels. Now we're going to go into some cat-cows from a seated position. Inhale, chest comes forward. Exhale, rounding the spine. Chin comes to chest. Use your hands on your knees to help pull you forward in the cat. If it feels good for your neck, you can look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Do this to your own rhythm. Remembering to breathe. One more round. Awesome. And if you'd like, you can switch your feet just to get a little variety while we're sitting so one hip doesn't get more sore than the other. From here, we're going to inhale. We're going to lift the left arm overhead, getting a side stretch in the left side. Your right hand placed on the ground and your left sit bone pushing into the mat. Neutral neck, elongating the spine. Always always remembering to breathe. I'm going to switch sides. Left hand comes to the ground, right hand overhead, neutral neck. Really pushing the right sit bone into the mat and anchoring through that. Releasing arms to the side. And we'll just do a quick wrist warm up here since we will be putting some weight on our wrists today. So just moving in whatever way feels good to you. Circles, switch direction. We're going to pull back the fingertips. And now pull them down away from your arm. Stretch out the thumb, pulling it to the side, pulling it back, pulling it forward. Then we'll switch sides, pulling fingertips back. Always remembering to breathe. Fingertips come forward, pulling them towards the mat. And then stretching out that thumb, pulling it back to the side, pulling it down. Beautiful. We'll do a little bit more with our wrists, but first we're going to come into tabletop. Now this is the first position where we're really going to think about engaging the core. As we stabilize our core, our upper body and our lower body are able to move safely. So again, we're slightly tucking the tailbone, making sure that our spine stays straight as we pull up through our crown, engaging the abdomen. So we're here in tabletop, our hands directly under our shoulders, knees directly under our hips, and our tops of our feet are flat on the mat. Use your fingertips to really grip the mat, and here we're going to just lean forward, putting some more of our weight into our hands, and we're going to start rotating here. Again, warming up the wrists, letting them know that we're going to be bearing weight, and move in whatever direction feels right to you. Forward, backwards, side to side, clockwise rotation, counterclockwise, whatever feels right to you. Now from here, we're going to turn our fingertips to the inside of the mat, and we're going to move side to side. As we do this, it's okay for your palms to come up. Just a reminder to keep the core engaged. We don't want any slouching of the spine or any tailbone turned up. All right, turning our fingers to the outside of the mat, same thing here. Just warming up the wrists a bit, moving in whatever way feels right to you. All right, we'll spread the knees out wide here. Give our core a little break coming into child's pose. You can also rinse out your wrists a little bit. Take a moment here to recenter yourself. You can connect with your breath. Maybe set an intention for this practice. One more breath here. And we'll meet back in tabletop. Making sure we're aligned. Hands directly under our shoulders, knees directly under our hips, engaging that core, straight spine. We're going to take a big inhale here. Exhale fully. On the next inhale, we're going to send our right foot in between our hands. Keeping the back leg on the mat. Can use your blocks here if it feels good for you. Whatever setting best fits you. We're going to lift up, keeping the core engaged, stabilizing here so we're not bending too far forward into the hips. If this feels good for you, you can stay here. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, some more core strength, you can rise up, arms above head, and we're just breathing here. Really focus on keeping that tailbone tucked, core strength strong, pulling up through the crown. One more round of breath. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Right leg comes back, we're in tabletop again. Checking in with that core. Are we stabilized? Yes. Inhale here. Exhale fully. Next inhale, left leg comes through. Again, feel free to grab your blocks on whatever setting feels good to you. Just remember to keep that core engaged. You can hold it here if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, go ahead, stand up, arms overhead. If you want a bit of a challenge and your arms aren't able to go above your head, you could also have hands on your hips, hands on your knee. Whatever is accessible to you is perfect. So here we're getting a good stretch in our front hip on the right side. And we're using our core to stabilize so we're not coming too far forward, popping our hip out. We're maintaining a straight position with our spine. Hands come back to the mat. Left foot comes back into tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale fully. Beautiful. We're going to spice it up a little bit here. We're going to add an extension to the leg. So extending the right leg, inhale. Think of pushing through the balls of your feet so that your leg isn't coming up too high, creating an arch in your back. It's coming straight out of your hip socket. Your weight is evenly distributed. If you want a bit more of a challenge, you can pump your leg up, really working those glutes. As always, remembering to breathe. Next inhale, we'll send the right leg back on through. You can go ahead, grab your blocks. And from here, we're going to extend the back leg. So we're in a runner's lunge. You want both of your feet on separate railroad tracks right here. You don't want them in the same line. So we're creating a balancing act with our feet here. Again, if this feels good for you and your core is engaged and you want to stay here with your blocks, that's perfectly fine. If you would like a little bit more of a challenge, you can go ahead and extend. Hands on the hips, hands at heart center, or hands above. Breathing. Keeping that core strong. One more round of breath. Hands come back to the mat. You can drop the back knee. Right leg comes back, and we're meeting back in tabletop. Right leg extends. Breathing here. And bring the right leg back down. We'll do the same thing on the left side here. Left leg extending. If you would like to, you can pulsate, adding an extra challenge here. Can we keep the core engaged while we move our leg? The movement should be coming straight from the hip socket, not arching of the back. Next round of breath, we'll bring the leg on through. Getting a good grip on the mat with your feet. Placing your blocks under your hands. We're going to extend the back leg. A good inhale and exhale here. And if you're up for the challenge, go ahead, rise up. Keeping the core engaged. You're doing great. Wherever you're at in this posture, keep on breathing. On the next round of breath, we'll meet back down, hands on the mat, back knee drops. Sending the left leg back. Feel free to pulsate here or just hold it, whatever feels good for you. Just remember to breathe. Lovely job, everyone. Left knee back on the mat, meeting in tabletop. Make sure that you're aligned here, hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. Is that core engaged? Is your spine straight? Are you pulling from the top of your crown all the way through the root? We'll take a moment here to take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And we're going to add another position here. So we're going to extend the back right leg, and we're going to extend the front arm, the left. So we have opposite hand and foot in the air, opposite hand and foot on the mat. Breathing here. Hand comes back to the mat. Right leg comes through in between your hands. Again, feel free to use your blocks here. We're going to go ahead, lift the back leg up. But from here, we're going to add a twist. So if this feels good to you here, you can stay here. If you would like to add a little bit extra here, we're going to go ahead and turn the core here, extending the right arm up. So here I'm still using my block to help me. If you're able to have your hand on the mat, that's perfectly fine, or your hands at heart center. Again, pulling up through the crown. Still engaging the core even though we're twisting at it. One more breath here. And we'll come back to the mat. Drop the left knee. Right leg comes back, left arm comes up. We're in our two-legged tabletop. Breathing here. Finding a focal point. It can be the tip of your nose or a spot on the wall. Next exhale, we'll meet back in tabletop. Take a deep breath here. Let it all out. And we're going to go ahead, switch to the other side. Right arm comes up, left leg comes up. Using that core strength to stabilize. You're doing great here. This is our last round. Right arm comes to the mat, left leg comes through. You can use your blocks here. Pushing up with the right leg. We're going to come into our twist here. Left arm comes up, gaze follows, and we're twisting at the core. Still pulling up and elongating through the spine. Hand comes back to the mat, right knee comes down. Push push the left leg back, right arm comes up. We're gonna hold this here and breathe. One more round of breath. You've got it. Hand and knee come back to mat. We'll take a big inhale here. Exhale fully. We'll come into child's pose, whatever variation feels good for you. Give your core a break. Come back to your breath. Come back to the intention that you set at the beginning of this practice. When you're ready, come around with your back to the mat. Do a little wind down before we go into Shavasana. I'm going to cross the right leg over the left leg in a figure four. Interlace your fingers behind the left leg. Pull up towards your body. Breathing through any discomfort. From here, we're going to think about putting our right foot and our left knee towards the ground. Getting a twist of the spine here. Your right arm can come out, your gaze can follow. Wringing out the spine even more. We're breathing in, elongating the spine out, twisting a little bit farther if possible. Beautiful. We'll come back to center. Uncrossing your right leg and switching sides. The left foot comes to the right knee. Interlacing the fingers behind the right thigh, pulling towards the body. Stretching out your left hip. Want to keep your foot flexed to protect your knee. Inhale, love and light. Exhale, any pain or discomfort. Inhale fully. Exhale, send the right knee and left foot to the right side for a twist here. You can extend your left arm and your gaze can follow. If you have a tight neck and you want to keep your neck neutral, that's perfectly fine. Honor your body and whatever feels right to you. We'll meet back at center. Feet flat on the mat. And place one hand on our tummy, one hand on our heart. Take a deep breath in. Let it all out. Come back to the intention that you set at the beginning of this class. From here, we're going to enter our Shavasana. Gather any props that you would like. You can put a blanket on, put a bolster under your knees, under your neck, under your head, whatever feels right to you. Find a comfortable position, possibly knees together, knees open, legs out. Whatever feels right, it's perfect for you. As we enter our Shavasana, just allow yourself space to be. Allow all the hard work that you just put in to settle. Relax your jaw. Don't control your breathing, just let it be natural. And stay here for as long as you'd like. When you are ready to come out of the Shavasana, be gentle with yourself. Come out slowly. Begin with wiggling your fingers and toes. Any slight movement. Gently blinking your eyes open. Rolling over to one side. And slowly assisting yourself to a seated position. Again, my name is Brianna, and I'm so thankful that you've come here to practice with me. Again, keep that core strong, stabilize yourselves, and live beautifully. Thank you.